Good morning, everyone. Welcome to twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. First question of the day, which has been preceded by a poll. Is the audio fine? And it seems like it is. Hey, there we go. There we go. Chappers, good morning. Thank you very much. Vern's in the chat as well. I can see there's a number of Bolingoli references in the chat as well. Is this the tail end of the Manny raid yesterday? Big shout out to Manny, by the way, who officially, if you look at our stream alert, raided with a party of 2,234. But that's not right, because it was actually 3,300 and something when it actually fully filtered through. So Manny, you absolute hero. You're probably not here this morning.
Yeah.
Probably still in bed, but cheers, Manny. Massive appreciation as well. Much love for that. For anyone that doesn't know, I mean, the chances are, if you're on Twitch, you've probably heard of Manny before Ice Cream Uploads. But Manny helping to change that around a little bit yesterday. But if you haven't, go check out at OF Manny on Twitch. Really nice guy, really good content creator. Plays a lot of PES and has something exciting to come next week, which you will have seen from his stream yesterday. He's been teasing it, and we've had the pleasure of being able to do that with him, so it's nice. Can't say any more because it's all his stuff, you know, so he will tell you more next week. But yeah, welcome in. With a bit of a disaster sort of like start there, so long story short, we have mic issues anyway with Streamlabs. I went downstairs to grab the important part of the studio setup, which was the Muscle Moose Graham Day named brew. Yeah! So I went to grab my brew, but my headset disconnected. And Streamlabs, if you disconnect an audio device, you just can't reconnect it without restarting Streamlabs. So I basically started the stream, then had to kind of like restart Streamlabs without ending the stream, and then because I did that, it must have just shit itself. So we started the countdown video, got like 1.5 minutes into a 3-minute countdown, and then just restarted for no reason. So we ended it and we started. So we're nice. If you're watching on YouTube, you've not seen any of that, so nice. And if you're listening on demand, then you've not heard any of that, so even nicer. But let's jump in to everything. Obviously, if you are new here, then my name is Graham. Hi, how you doing? This is Babe, and we together are Ice Cream Uploads, as you can tell, because, you know, it kind of says the name on the screen. But anyway, in true Ice Creamy fashion, this is The Scoop. We do this each and every single weekday at 10 a.m. We're going to give you our thoughts and impressions from the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories from the world of video games. We want your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions, should I say. And we do that, like I say, live each and every single weekday at 10 a.m. ish. 10 a.m.-ish at twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. And why do we do that? Because we, as some people might say, are the UK's #1 video games podcast. I mean, we are the people that say that, but it still counts to tell you that every day. But it's fine. It's fine. Anyway, if you are in the chat, whether you're new or whether you've been here before, please feel free to get involved. And it's important that you do, because we turn this show, this live stream, into a podcast, a video for YouTube and an audio podcast on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Play. So if you are in the chat, you use your voice on behalf of everyone watching and listening on demand a little bit later on. A couple of things to mention. First things first. ! Loot drop. Subscribers do get prizes. ! Insert coin. Chatbot is actually open. Nice. And !
Yeah.
Muscle Moose if you want to save yourself some pennies. Couple of things to mention. No, do you know, I won't mention any of the other things because there's a couple of things that's in process. I've not even actually told Bibby about one of them, so I'll tell Bibby after the show, and then we might tell you tomorrow. Who knows? Teasing. Anyway, enough of that.
Great style.
Enough of that. Bib!
Hello.
I need to say this, and I need to say this frankly. You've still got Baby Blue, not ICU Purple. I think the whole world deserves. Oh, no, wait,
Deserve better.
wait.
That's what we're saying.
Hey, there we go. See that? The power of the remote went full screen and everything, so we can see the room change. The ICU ambiance.
I'm aiming it at the wrong side. The receiver is behind my cabinet here, or behind my shelves, and I keep on aiming it at the top right hand corner for some unknown reason. Yeah, that's good, done it.
It worked. It's fine. Nice. La Roche, good morning, dude. ! Loot drop. There you go. Chappers with a way. And ICU Purple. Ooh. Well, that's what it is. On brand. We match. I literally look like I'm at the other side of Bibby's room now. You can't tell. We've got two desks facing each other. You wouldn't know. Let's jump into the split screen. Anyway, so as we usually do, we're going to jump into some video game chat. Yesterday, Bib, though, before we do that, how did PES 6 go?
Yes. okay-ish. I mean, I was explaining it to the guys because obviously Manny ended up raiding with like 3,500 people, and people was, despite as well as saying Bolingoli, they was just saying PS6 goated, goated, goated. So I was trying to explain to them because I don't know how old some of the people were, but then some of them was saying, oh, I was like 3 when it came out, so they probably wouldn't have played it. But I was like, yeah, I've not got the best team in the world, but the first season is all about trying to get some money in to be able to buy players for the second season. The second season, you may be able to go into a title charge. We was in the mix for a title charge. Unfortunately, we ended up falling at like the second to last or maybe third to last hurdle. So we're out the cup and we're not getting promoted. However, we ended up selling quite a few players, so we've got like 20,000 K to spend when the team salary is just over 11K. So I think the third season might be the one where we end up going up.
We believe.
Extremely good times.
We believe. Chappers in the chat saying, Bolingoli! Did you manage to buy Lukaku yesterday as well then?
No, I didn't want to. It would have been far too much for me to be able to
balance the books.
To be able to try and consider bringing him in.
Yeah. Makes sense. Anyway, speaking about bringing things in, let's bring in some news. You see that tangent? Nice. Okay, we'll jump into our first story of the day, and rather unsurprisingly, because it basically breeds conversations, and you guys want to know. We are back talking about the next gen console. So if you're after a PS5 or an Xbox Series S and X, we have a little bit of an update. This one is taken from VGC. Let me just get the article prepped here. Tom Ivan at VGC says the following. PS5 and Xbox supplier AMD expects issues until the second half of the year, which is obviously a little bit of a change. We were kind of expecting issues until the end of Q1, maybe the start of the next financial year, but they're saying second half of the year now. AMD makes components for that, so it's a very reliable source. Anyway, we'll jump back in. It says demand for the consoles is expected to outstrip supply for the foreseeable future. AMD, which makes the CPUs and GPUs, shout out to Astrobot, there you go. AMD, which makes the CPUs and GPUs inside PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S, expects supply constraints to continue through the first half of 2021. Asked to characterize the magnitude of supply constraints facing the general semiconductor industry, AMD's fourth quarter earnings call on Tuesday, CEO Lisa Su said he expects some tightness during the first 6 months of the year before things pick up in the second half. So certainly, when I look at the semiconductor environment in 2020, it was very strong. So we saw a strong revenue ramp in our business, as well as across some of our peers, Sue said. It's fair to say that the overall demand It's fair to say that the overall demand exceeded our planning, and as a result, we did have some supply constraints as we ended the year. Those were primarily, I would say, in the PC market, the low end of the PC market, and in the gaming markets. That being said, she added, I think we're getting great support from our manufacturing partners. The industry does need to increase the overall capacity levels, and so we do see some tightness throughout the first half of the year, but there is added capacity in the second half. Sony and Microsoft have been unable to meet demand for the PS5 and Xbox Series X and S since their November launches, with the consoles quickly selling out each time fresh stock is made available to retailers. In November, Microsoft said it expects the Xbox Series X and S supply shortages to continue till at least April, an outlook that was reiterated by Chief Financial Officer Amy Hood during the company's own earnings call on Tuesday, when it said the systems had recorded the biggest console launch in the firm's history. Speaking in a recent Xbox podcast, Xbox boss Phil Spencer revealed that he contacted chipmaker AMD to ask if it could ramp up manufacturing to try and meet demand. We'll pause there. We don't really need to go too much further into that. But the gist is, if you're after a PS5 or an Xbox Series X, there is stock resurfacing. Xbox are doing very well at the moment, actually. There's these regular restocks on Microsoft's own stores, plus Amazon and the like. But if you're after consoles, expect difficulties potentially past April, which is where we've been looking, into the second half of the year. Bib, thoughts?
I'm glad that this kind of news is being presented to everyone now, because I feel like PlayStation, for the sake of this, Sony and Microsoft have both been getting a lot of shit for stuff that was potentially out of their hands. I think a lot of people were blaming them for not getting production through fast enough, and that there wasn't enough people working on it to get them shipped out, and then people was holding them and then not sending them to retailers on time. I'm kind of glad that we're starting to get a full focus on this now, so more people will understand the exact process that Sony and Microsoft go through to try and get these consoles created, manufactured, distributed, and then sold by retailers. So yeah, again, this is overall a very good article for us to be able to go through and kind of push the message out to say that fair enough, you might be getting pissed off at the fact that PlayStation aren't selling enough to you. But ultimately, it's not always their fault, and this is obviously another instance where you have to cut all parties some slack. They're manufacturing them as fast as they can possibly go. What more can they do to try and make this go faster? People probably say build more robots, hire more people, get them done. You can only go as fast as possible. They can hire another 5,000 people if they needed to, but eventually those 5,000 people are going to lose their jobs because the demand outweighs how many they're creating. So it doesn't make sense. It's just a case of being patient at this moment in time.
Ryan Coppin says hello. I came from the Money Raid. Welcome in. You're talking about building more robots and things like that. I mean, it's kind of difficult with that because surely the robots that build PS5s are more complex than PS5s. So surely they take AMD chips themselves. So do you build more robots? The supply parts for the robots are probably 6 months delayed as well. So it's awkward. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Obviously, we want the consoles. The consoles are in short supply. The consoles are in short supply because they need the components. If the components are in short supply, the consoles are in short supply. And if AMD are acknowledging that they understand that things aren't going to be coming till later in the year, that comes from a sense of surely they know their own stock, their own logistics chains, so they will know if when they will have enough stock put out. So I think it's a rumor. Take it with a pinch, but it's a very good rumor. I think it's a little bit of a pain. I mean, not for me because I'm that knobhead that's got two PS5s.
How many have you got now?
Just two for now. But it is a little bit of a kick in the teeth for people that have been trying to get their hands on a PS5 or that have kind of gone, do you know what? Sorry, I'm not going to bother with this faff of trying to get one because scalpers are out there taking them all. What I'm going to do is wait until February, March, April and get one. But now it could be June, July, August, who knows, whatever the second half of the year. So it's going to continue through the first half of the year. Until the second half of the year is the quote from AMD. So if you're after a PS5 or an Xbox Series X, if PlayStation, if Sony, if Xbox can't get hold of the components, they're not going to be able to make the consoles. And if the suppliers are saying that they expect issues, then it's pretty indicative. Expect issues. I think that's a good way to say it. Chappers says probably the most satisfying gameplay in a football game ever, way ahead of its time graphically and a magical aura of beauty. So yeah, if you want to play some more PES 2021 season update, then feel free. It's available now. I'm assuming you're talking about PES 6 there. I mean, it's not the most satisfying gameplay football game ever. It's actually PES 5, but close. I see what you're saying. No, it's good. Watching it yesterday with the mods and stuff looked incredible. It did look really, really good. I mean, obviously you can tell it's a simplified version of football, but the balancing, because it's simpler, it's easier to balance. There's less variables. It just looked really good. It was a nice watch. Whilst I was working away, it was nice to have it on the second screen. 8DXR says, can you say Oni-chan, please? I just did, so there you go. Doesn't that mean older brother? Why do you want me to say older brother? Xbox are doing so much of a better job at supplying stores than PS Store, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I think, like I said before, I think that comes down to the fact that Xbox showed their console, showed their hand like 7-8 months earlier. So with that, if the not the cat is out of the bag, but the box is out of the bag, then you can be less secretive, so they can have that in workflows and production chains much faster than Sony. If Sony haven't even shown it, then there's no way that they can have it in production before August, or a very, very difficult way of having it in production, because if it gets leaked out, that can have share price issues and so on. So Sony being delayed up until that point, I think it was probably like vicious circle. They couldn't start production because they couldn't show the box, but they didn't want to show the box until they knew that that was what they were kind of going with production. Maybe something along those lines. Maybe it was just purely COVID halting things. Either way, they didn't get to show it until fairly late on. And I think that lead time, as I've mentioned a few times, one of the examples that I gave was it PS4s? Was it 30 seconds it takes to make a PS4 Pro? So
yeah.
So let's say 40, 50 seconds to make a PS5 on a production line, a minute. And if you were delayed by 2 or 3 months, which Sony did confirm they were, then the amount of consoles that you would be back on in that single backlog on its own will take shitloads of time to build it. Even if you do ramp up output and you work at 150% capacity, it's still going to take you months to catch back up there. So doesn't surprise me that Xbox are doing better in that sense. Chapper says, now I was replying to LaRoche back to PS5 and Xbox Supply. Okay, there you go. I didn't see it. Tito says, damn it, no notification. Morning, chaps. Good morning, Tito. How the devil are you, sir? Yeah, I know, we sat here. We sat waiting for a few minutes. It was like, can I drink my Tito? And we're like, not without Tito. So we were like, oh, no. So that's what happens
How long
now.
have you had that one in the change?
Literally just straight in my head and straight out. So I'm pretty proud of that one. So there you go. Mr. Gary Clark as well. Thank you for the comments. Good morning. How the devil are you? Let me jump back up and see if I've missed anyone. I think we've covered everyone. I don't have a shout out Vern. If I didn't, Vern, good morning. Hey. I did see that before. I think I shouted it out, but there you go. Let's have another one. I've got a notification. Is that? Why is Skype opened itself up? Nope. Get out of here. I was just asking if PES was better than FIFA. Okay. Feel free to fight. There's only one way to find out, and that's a fight to the death. That's what it is. But anyway, Xbox and PS5's supply shortages, expect them to continue. I have had a few messages. It's quite interesting because I managed to pick up a PS5 digital this week. Enix, I don't think he's in here this morning. I was actually helping him at like 12:30 last night with his stream stuff. He managed to pick up a PS5 disc edition last night. So there are consoles coming around at the moment. Madge, thank you very much for the host, you beautiful man. Good morning.
Thank you.
There are consoles and there has been stock this week, but it seems like at this point in time in particular, the stock has been splurged. There isn't as much stock available right now. So if you're after a console, it seems like the accessories are there. So the Pulse headset is available on Amazon. It has been for 24 hours-ish, according to IGN UK deals. So accessory stocks are normalizing. Hopefully that's a sign of things to come for everything else. So even though supplies may be short until the second half of the year, maybe it's just a little bit more difficult to see them. They're not readily available, but hopefully they're not still being scalped. So it might become easier and easier as time goes on. Anyway, that's enough about the consoles. Let's jump on to some... No, actually, no. Let's stick with consoles. Ish. I'll go with a story. Oh my God, Skype, get out of here. I've just closed you. Quit Skype. Go on, get out. There we go. We'll jump into a different article. This one's on video game content. Oh,
stay frosty, yeah.
Hey, Mr. Gary Clark gifting a sub to Tito. Hey, that's Gary's 4th gift in the channel as well, Gary. What a guy. Yeah, there we go.
I seen you with the lights. I wanted to join you.
I have to turn mine off and back on again, though, because there's no way to set it to go back to the default settings. So that's why if you ever watch me and I'm turning my lights off and on, it's because I'm turning it back to the normal Lumia stuff. But yeah, there you go. Do you know what? We need to get you set up with Lumia stream as well in yours. See I wonder if it can link up to yours.
It's about £1 million to have, and I got given these lights.
Oh no. Well, Lumia streams a bit of free software that you can download. I just don't know if it links up to it. So that's what I used to sync to all of that stuff, and it works with a shitload of stuff, not just like Hue lights, but Govee and all other stuff as well. So I don't know. There you go.
Like Shop LED.
We will find out. Tito says my Instagram used to get tagged for a Philadelphia tea shop called Tido all the time. Well, until I got hijacked by Russians anyway. Basically, I don't use Instagram anymore. What a story!
It's been worth a lot.
Mr. Clark, though, thank you very much for the gifting. What a guy!
Shagger, yes he is.
As mentioned, I will mention it every day. We appreciate anyone that just lurks, just sits in the chat and doesn't even say anything. Even being a lurker helps because it increases our views. The more views we get, the higher we rank on the Twitch ladder, and the more viewers we can get, the faster we can grow, and the better we grow, the more we grow, the more we can give back to you guys. So anyone that just lurks, just views, is wonderful. Get involved in the chat is exceptional. Gifties and things, donations, we all appreciate because that all helps to keep Baby's super expensive lights flashing. Keep the lights on, should I say. So yeah, as mentioned, we don't do this full time. This is our side bit. So yeah, anyone that does that, it helps support that. Thank you very much. Anyway, let's jump back into the news. The next story, written by Tom Phillips at Eurogamer, says Assassin's Creed Valhalla players are dying on purpose to help fellow fans get a bugged achievement. Avengers assemble. Assassin's Creed Valhalla has a tough achievement. The game's community is now working together to help everyone unlock. You can help too, by letting yourself get killed in a specific location. The troublesome achievement, named Hall of the Slain, requires you to avenge the death of 10 players. It's one of many accessible awards accessible via the built-in Ubisoft Connect platform, and one of many that suffers from bugs. My God, words. In about 150 hours playing Valhalla, I've only come across the ability to avenge another player twice, and one of those times was last night while testing out the community's new method. Fans say the game's avenge system is outright broken, while Ubisoft has acknowledged in a list of known issues that avenge quests are difficult to spot. Avenge quests highlight where another real-life player has died while playing the game. Use Odin's sight on their body, which is known as a generic Viking, and they'll glow blue. Interact with their corpse, and you'll be asked to kill the group of enemies they were slain by. While this achievement is not one of the ones in the game's official Xbox achievement or PlayStation trophy list, fans care about unlocking it to game XP on Ubisoft Connect, which grants cosmetic rewards such as Bayek's outfit from Assassin's Creed Origins. The issue has gained traction within the community this week because, on top of the permanent Hall of the Slain achievement, a new time-limited challenge has popped up that awards Ubisoft Connect XP and in-game premium Opal currency. Some fans claimed that avenging a player was currently impossible, but others took it upon themselves to brute force a place in the game for people to give it a try. I remember coming across the avenge system once last year while playing Valhalla for review using a pre-released unpatched version of the game. After launch, I never saw an avenge quest marker again until last night after following the instructions laid out by Assassin's Creed Reddit user The Elf. It was recommended I post here just to get the word out further, The Elf wrote. With a seemingly impossible weekly challenge to avenge a player, quite a few folks chipped in to try and hammer out how, since there had been reports of some people having Avengers early on and others not. It either has to exist or it doesn't. Since it was occurring very infrequently, we set out on a journey. Yeah. Do you know what? I'll skip past the end bit. Basically, he went to where someone died and killed the people. Jobs are good. Yay! So thank you for that. I will be letting myself die there again tonight to pass on the goodwill. And if you end up avenging me, do let me know. Some good coming from some not so good. I'd like to see the community getting together to do things like this. Thoughts, Bib? People playing Ubisoft games, i.e. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, getting issues that they can overcome in-game, Ubisoft not really doing much about it, and then the community coming together to fix it for themselves. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, this I don't think it's been any... it's not a secret that this game suffered quite a lot from when it came out through bugs left, right, and center. I mean, the best part about this is that it isn't actually like a PlayStation or an Xbox achievement. It's just an XP one for your Ubisoft Connect account, which does have its own leveling system, as said by the article, where you can get unique costumes and things like that. So people are really wanting to play this. I think I seen Spike yesterday saying that he played it for 146 hours. And that he tried to complete it 100%, but he's stuck on 95% because he's done everything that there is to do on the map. However, it must be a bug
somewhere else.
Yeah, because he can't get to it, or he can't see it, or it's just bugged out and it's not visible. But yeah, again, it's just another fantastic thing what the community are doing to try and help each other. Everyone could just not bother doing it, do you know what I mean? But if people will always find ways to be able to try and do things and achieve whatever it is that they're trying to achieve in the game. apart from if it's physically not there to be able to see. So again, this is fantastic news. Hopefully, if enough people start to do it, then it will potentially or try to get fixed, because it seems weird not to be able to try and fix something like this, if I'm being honest. I don't understand. Is this the first time? Forgive me for this, because the last Ubisoft game that I played before that was Far Cry 5, and this kind of thing wasn't in the game. But is it the first time that they've kind of merged the online element with the single player stuff and then put an achievement in for it? Because it seems really weird that.
I mean, that comes from Ubisoft Connect, which I have no idea about. If anyone has any information on Ubisoft Connect, feel free to drop it in the chat. So that is basically something that overlays the game. So it's still single player element, but you get that community activation, almost MMO sort of vibe to it, where I'm playing my own game, it's offline, and nothing you do affects my game per se, but I can then go in and see that you've died in this specific spot, and then can use that within my own game, which is pretty cool. It is pretty cool. It's offline, but it's not offline. It's pretty cool.
Oh, sorry. I think they've done this with the crew as well, but they haven't gone to the extent where you need to revive someone's car. But yeah, I do kind of get that. I mean, I know this isn't anything to do with Ubisoft, but Forza. When I'm playing Forza Horizon 4, I'm seeing other people's cars. Like, I'm seeing Enix's car. Hi, Enix. I've seen you in the chat before. I've seen his car driving around at that, but I know he's not playing at the same time as me. So it's kind of like ghosts. He's got the ghost of his car's just driving around, so like I can race against him. If he's raced on that map, I can race against him.
Good morning, Enix. I know Bibby just said then. I mentioned you a minute ago. Yeah, sat on Bibby's on Jordan's stream last night. Whilst dying, I had like some rampant coffee fit, but managed to give him tech support. So yeah, there you go. We've earned all the gifted subs. That's the fee. That's the fee. So GG. Ads, good morning. Thank you very much for the host, dude. Appreciate that. Gagad says, forget Valhalla for a second. Gagad says, where's the cyberpunk topic? To which Ads responds to, it's delayed. Hey!
Great style.
Elijah United says the bottling golly effect is still here. Yeah. Welcome in. How's things? Good morning. Do you know what?
Morning, mate.
Whenever I watch Manny's streams and he's playing FIFA 21 and he's shouting Bolingoli, there's an old song and I had to Google it to try find it. And it's like called Woolly Bully or something like that. And it goes, Woolly Bully, Woolly Bully, Woolly Bully. And whenever he's like going, Bolingoli, that's all I'm hearing, that song in my head. So I'm sat there going, Bolingoli, Bolingoli. So there you go. Anyway, have a story. The Forza Driver AI stuff is pretty cool, says Enix.
I'm really enjoying that game, to be fair. It's been a while since I played a Forza game of sorts, whether or not it's track or terrain, and I'm fully invested in it. I'm really, really enjoying it. I also downloaded something else off Games Pass. 1 second. Let me find it.
While you're finding that, Jordan says, wait for my new capture card to arrive. He's got an Elgato 4K60 because his other media one wasn't playing ball with him. Then maybe can laugh at me while I do a Resident Evil 7 fresh run.
I know Vern's going to be screaming at me because I've not played Super Mario Odyssey yet, but it's in the same vein as that. It's just a 3D platformer with.
Oh, let me stop you for a second. Because your audio just dropped and then you came back on, and I think you've named what the game was, but we didn't actually get it, so you just went. Is it in the same vein of that? So say it again.
New Super Lucky's Tale.
Yeah, we definitely.
With a character that's a fox that looks like Tails from Sonic.
I'm going to Google it. Super Lucky's Tale. I mean, that's very different from what Jordan thought you were getting at. Is it the medium?
Well, to be fair, I am downloading that as well because I didn't realise, I've not seen any gameplay footage or anything from the medium until Maximum Cortez from Kind of Funny. Andy posted yesterday that it had tank controls, and I'm like, if it's got tank controls, I'm there, bitch. I don't care if it's shit or not. I'm going to be playing that game. I want to try it out. So yeah, I'm going to download that as well.
Yeah, that very, very much looks like Tails from Sonic the Hedgehog, but cartoonized.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what I've downloaded from Game Pass. I haven't seen it on there before, so I don't know if it's new there today. But I saw it this morning, so I'm going to give that a whirl.
But it's definitely on PlayStation as of this, because the bit I was looking was the launch trailer on PlayStation from August 2020. I'd never even heard of it, so that's new to me. It's new to
I
me.
wonder how much it is on there, because I mean, on Xbox Game Pass, it's saying that you can buy it for £26.79, which feels like a lot considering it's a 5 GB game. I don't think there's that much to do on it.
Tito says, Bibby, is it Ori? And Nick says, if it's not Ori, it's a crime. And then Tito says, okay, so Bibby's making a crime. That's what it is. Chapper says, you're just about to buy GTA Mega Pro. That ICU code doesn't seem to work. What's the sitch? Yeah, I think they've changed their system. So below our stream, you should be able to see the panel. And I think it's just the panel now is a tracking code. So if you scroll down, or if you're watching on the phone, I think you press like, okay, Twitch is shit his pants. Nice, it's not loading all the stuff below the stream. There we go. So we have the panel there, and the panel just uses our tracking code, so that should go through and do it that way. Should do. So yeah, let me know if it does. Because the URL should change to like blah 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 blah, and then medium equals ICU, and that should mean that you've got the discount code already there. So when then you go to the checkout, you should see the extra. I think it changes. It's between 5 and 15% depending on what GTA Mega's offers currently are. So they sometimes have their own offers, which means it reduces our offer on the top of it. But yeah, do it that way. So if anyone's after a GTA Mega chair, click the panel below. It does say use code ICU. I don't know if the code thing applies at the moment, but if you click that panel and go through that way, it should wait for you. You should save yourself some money. Nice.
Hey.
I may take my sub back as Bibby hasn't played Super Mario Odyssey. Never have I. Never have I. But this is okay.
I do need it, but it's a lot. It's like 50 quid. It's like, can I afford that? Probably not. Can I afford a new £50 wedge? Probably.
Ad says the pound shop miles. Oh, LaRoche! Thank you very much for the host. Thank you, dude. Ad says the pound shop miles power. That would be the pound shop version because it's miles proer. So there you go. Miles power is the pound shop version. Although it'd probably be more like rather than miles proer, it'll be like yards power. That's what it would be. Different unit of measurement, obviously, because you don't want to be done for copyright. Super Lucky's Tale was Xbox trying to have their own performing character. Is that platforming character? But it didn't work out, unfortunately. LaRoche has gone into the lurk. Thank you very much, LaRoche. Take a seat at the back of the ice cream van. Anyway, so talking about all of these new games and things that are coming that you can play on Game Pass and stuff. What if you don't have an Xbox? What if you don't even have a PlayStation and you want to try some new games? Well, Steam have you covered if you have a PC. Nice tangent into the next news article, which is written by Sherif, Saed at BG247, and it says next week's Steam Game Festival will offer over 500 demos. So this year's first edition of the Steam Game of the Steam Game Festival returns next week. Valve have announced that next week, the first Steam Game Festival for 2021 will kick off. The February edition of the Steam Game Festival. Do you know what? Maybe we should say Steam Game Festival a few more times. That might help. Anyway, the February edition of the Steam Game Festival will be live February 3rd to February the 9th. Free for everyone. So next week's event will feature over 500 free game demos available to download and play for the duration. You can also expect developer live streams, which are viewed on every game's Steam page, as well as panels and other chats. This format should be familiar to anyone who checked out previous editions of the Steam Game Festival. This year, however, Valve will also be hosting its own show on the first day. Excuse me. You'll be able to watch it on the event page on Steam and on Twitch, and the live stream will play a few select demos to get the ball rolling. This all kicks off on Wednesday at 6 p.m. UK time, and you have until Tuesday the week after to play the included games. You can check the Steam Game Festival event page for more and set up a reminder for when it goes live. I will hit play on the trailer with no audio, just for a bit of ambiance. But if you have a PC and you want to play some new games, the Steam Game Festival, I imagine you'll probably be aware of if you're a PC gamer. If you aren't, this is, in my opinion, one of the best and overall most unsung activations in video games. The Steam Game Festival allows you to play a large amount of demos of games, and I think demos for a few years disappeared off the front line of video games marketing. Someone did some research and found out that demos are going to make people not play games. But obviously the opinions on that have changed over the last few years, which is why there's a lot more demos available on PlayStation. There's a lot more demos available on Xbox, and people have realised that demos can be an effective part of marketing strategies. And early access, building into that, betas and so on. So they are coming back. But the Steam Game Festival did that before it was cool again. So for the last few years, you've been able to watch broadcasts which give you a big overview of the games industry. It has a shitload of games, and then you can just download it, test it, play it, add it to your wish list, and get yourself set for when the games are released, which is pretty cool in my opinion. What are your thoughts, Bib?
Yeah, it's something that well, for as long as we've done this show, we've talked about. But in this article, I'm sure in the last two that we've covered, that you've been able to preload some of the demos and then they'll go live, so you don't have to waste time, like waste a day downloading demos to then play. It doesn't mention that in this article, but I imagine I imagine it probably will be the same again.
Yeah, I'd have thought so. Maybe some individual developers might have different approaches to that. They may not put it live until the day or whatever, but I imagine for the majority of them they will do, because a lot of the games within the Steam Game Festival don't expect your Halo-esque sort of levels. Oh, Halo's going to get shitloads of announcements. Maybe we'll get a Halo demo. I mean, maybe we will, but don't expect a shitload of that. It will be smaller, different, indie, maybe some party and games, and yeah, you'll get a full variety of things across the full spectrum. And a lot of the developers doing that get involved in the Steam Games Festival aren't necessarily developers that will be your household names, but will be doing something a bit left field. So Among Us, massive now. Maybe excuse me, maybe that has been in the Steam Game Festival before. Maybe it hasn't. But games of that ilk could be found by this sort of medium. So it's good. So yeah, if you're looking to
Agreed.
Nice. If you're looking to find something new, do that. I mean, I still haven't played last year's Steam Game Festival. I've mentioned it about 4 or 5 times. There's a game called Party Animals on Steam, and I saw that because in last year's Steam Game Festival, you had a number of content creators that were in that kind of like, you get into a kind of a funk as a one-game content creator. So you might be playing Fortnite, and then when you lose interest in that, you need to find something else to play, but you're not quite sure. Or you might play PUBG or whatever. Same thing. And Lyric's not that kind of content creator, but he was looking for something different to do. And as the Steam Game Festival was ongoing, he was basically picking games at random from the 500 demos or whatever it was last time. And one of the games that he played was a game called Party Animals, which I still want to play. It looks incredibly good. It's basically, imagine Fall Guys, but rather than it being racing to the end, it's almost like elimination, battle royale kind of things. And it's one of those where you've got duff mechanics, and I know it's been mixed up with quite a few different games. What's the other? There's another one where you basically have to kind of like knock people off of platforms, and you've got like 4 different buttons, and you hold a different button to grab hold with one hand, hold another button to grab hold with the other. It's that kind of stuff, which is just daft but fun. Anyway, it looked really good. So Party Animals is something that I've been wanting to play for quite a while. Heard about the death of one of Resident Evil 8's voice actors, Jeanette Mouse, the voice of the Witches. Did you know about that, Bib?
I did. Yeah, it's very sad. Colon cancer or something. Oh. I'd seen it on Twitter yesterday. I don't think this is the only game that she's done for Resident Evil. I thought she'd been in a couple other ones as well. But yeah, she voiced all the witches for the new game, which is very sad. So I'm going to be able to see her work come to life when the new game launches. It's very sad.
Just said human fall flat, so I just googled that while you were doing that. But yeah, so do you want? I wonder if someone like Jeanette Mouse would get some sort of nod in the next one. It'd be nice. I like it when you get to see something like that, even if it's just something in the credits, like in memoriam kind of thing. But
I think it'll probably be in this one. I mean, adding something like that, I don't think it's going to be particularly difficult. And the game's nowhere near. Well, you've got like another 100 days, I think it is, until the game comes out, so they could definitely put something in there. But yeah, it's a massive shame. It's always a tragedy, not just obviously all the stuff with the cancer, but especially with her work, she'll never be able to see all the nice things that people will be saying about the game when it comes out, which is always awful.
I didn't even twig. I'm thinking Resident Evil 8 was the last one. I completely forgot that 8 is Village. So I was thinking, when I said the next one, I was thinking, yeah, same game. But, I mean, that is heartbreaking because this is a game that has huge buzz, and whether it turns out to be a genre-defining game or whether it turns out to just be a fun game or whatever, I'd be gutted to put all of that effort in and not get to see the fruits of the labour, not get to just scroll through forums and watch people going, "This is fucking amazing! Crap my pants!" Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Reese says yo. Callum says yo. Shogun says oi oi. Then Reese comes back to say hi. Good morning. Welcome.
Morning, Jesus.
Shaw said Human Fall Flat. That's what distracted me. So I looked at Human Fall Flat. I've just got a trailer here. That sort of the idea of Human Fall Flat. There's another one that I saw it when Next Gen Base were playing it. I think it was in their Game Blast last year, and it was basically like a battle royale sort of. You've got 4 people on, I don't know, a tower kind of thing, and you've got to knock each other off. Not like that, calm down. But they can then use Human Fall Flat sort of like grabbing sort of mechanics to hold back up and then flip themselves back up and stuff. Gang Beasts, that's the one. There we go, Gang Beasts. That's the one. That is the one. So Gang Beasts, Party Animals is very much like that. But everyone's heard of Gang Beasts, or a lot of people have heard of Gang Beasts. Not really anyone's heard of Party Animals, other than just the generic phrase. So, I wouldn't have known about it if it hadn't have been the Steam Game Festival. So it can be good. Anyway, that starts next week. So if you have a PC and you want to play some new games for free, then try the demos of the games that are available on there. Anyway, now let's go to something completely different. As this one is about the Tesla new Model S, which will apparently play The Witcher 3 on a built-in 10 teraflop gaming rig. So that, excuse me, that's in-car gaming on par with today's newest consoles. And in breaking news, loads of Tesla Model S drivers have died without paying due care and attention to the road. Nice. This is written by Sean Hollister at The Verge, and it says, if you can't find a PS5 or Xbox Series X, which is funny because that's what we're talking about, you probably won't until the second half of the year. Excuse me again. If you can't find the PS5 or Xbox Series X, how about an $80,000 electric sports car with comparable performance? Tesla just announced its refreshed Model S today, and a new plaid powertrain isn't its only performance enhancement. The company claims the car can now compete with next-gen gaming consoles thanks to a 10 teraflop gaming computer that will apparently come with every new model. Assuming that refers to GPU performance, and Tesla isn't wildly exaggerating, that might indeed be competitive with a PS5 or Xbox Series X, which offer 10.28 teraflops and 12 teraflops of raw GPU power respectively. There's more to performance than teraflops, though. Now, you might ask, who's going to put a game in your car that might actually take advantage of a gaming PC? For that, I must ask you to look closely at the images above and below. Behold, CD Projekt's acclaimed sword-slinging adventure, The Witcher 3, just as Musk foretold. So there is an embedded tweet that says, "Want to play the Witcher game on your Tesla? You can already watch the show on Tesla Netflix Theater, so you can watch Netflix in your Tesla already." But 85% of people said that they would like to play Witcher within the car. So here are a number of things we still do not know. So despite the images showing The Witcher 3 up there, I can't even tell what that is. At the bottom looks like Mario Kart-ish, but it probably won't be. But Witcher 3 there. So despite those, here are the things that we still do not know. Is The Witcher 3 actually coming to Tesla, and when? They've asked CD Projekt Red. They don't know. Can you play it on the 17th? The 17-inch 2200 by 1300 pixel main display, or only on the 8-inch second row display, or both? We don't know. We also don't know, will you need a new controller? Tesla says it has wireless controller compatibility, but that's all we know. Who's making the GPU? With pinged NVIDIA and AMD. Who is going to sit in their $80,000 sports car and play a 70-plus hour game? Fingers crossed for cloud saves. Why not Cyberpunk? Okay, this one's a joke. So you can see the claims for yourself at Tesla's Model S website, though they're a little buried. You have to go to the shop, scroll down to interior, and click on feature details. Tesla's been bringing games to its cars for a while now. We tried out Tesla Arcade on a Model 3 back in 2019, and both the first level of Cuphead and a car karaoke mode came to the company's in-car software later that year. Fallout Shelter was added to the cars last year. So I had absolutely no idea of this, but you can play. I mean, I don't drive a Tesla. Bibby doesn't. He drives 6 Lamborghinis. But you can play video games in your Tesla. Not only is that something that is potentially coming, that's something that has been around for a couple of years and is potentially getting even better. Does it surprise me that Elon Musk is putting 10 teraflopped computers in a car? No, but did it catch me off guard? Yeah. What are your thoughts, Bib?
Yeah, you can just imagine that the rig is in the glove compartment. So you pull that down, there's just like a massive whacking PC there. But yeah, I mean, the pictures that they're showing, it looks, especially in the front, it either looks like the Epic Game Store or Xbox Game Pass Game Store. It looks like one of the two. So I mean, the vast CD Projekt Red, they're not going to be asked if you're going through one of the storefronts. It won't matter if CD Projekt Red have said yes or no. If it's accessible, then who knows? You can be playing it on whatever you want. But yeah, this is a bit mental. I did read actually, probably about a year ago, or maybe a bit less than that, that there was that you obviously can play arcade games in this, and one of them was Beach Buggy Racing, that you use the steering wheel itself to be able to move your car, and then you use the pedals to either accelerate or brake. Now, obviously, you can only play the game when it's stationary and the engine isn't on, but we can just turn it a little bit and the electrics come on. That's how you play it. So you'd use your finger on the screen to be able to pick which race you want, and then you'd use the accelerator to move forward. You move the steering wheel. I don't think the steering wheel in that method moves the tires. Otherwise, you'd just be balding your tires constantly if you was playing a racing game like that. But yeah, you use the steering wheel and the accelerator and the brake, which is pretty cool. But yeah, this is just another wild thing that Elon Musk his brain. If you could crack it open, I'd love to know what goes on inside there, because he'd just be sat there going, "Can we put a PC game in the Tesla? We probably can." And then they probably tried it, and they were like, "We'll just put this in every car. We could charge whatever we want. People will buy it because they're fucking idiots, and we could charge 80 grand for a car."
I just want to stop and rewind though, because how can I sue Elon Musk? How can I sue him for taking my ideas and making them his own? So back in 2016, we got content creators across the full spectrum of content creation. So there was news journalists, there was some YouTubers, there was race car drivers. We got them to go to Nissan in Malmö, Sweden, to play. It was PES 2016. I'm going to guess at that one. It was PES 2016, but we'd hooked it up to a Nissan Qashqai, and then you turned the steering wheel, you hit the horn, you pumped the accelerator, the brake, and so on to use different functions in the game. So we've already been playing games using cars for half a decade, Elon. So yeah, that's a great idea you just come up with by yourself there. Yeah. The Nissan video, there we go. I remember that. Yeah, we had Jan Mardenborough, who was basically a university dropout, his words, not mine, that decided to start playing Gran Turismo, played Gran Turismo well enough to compete at a digital event run by Gran Turismo in association with Nismo, and he has been racing for Nissan and Nismo as a professional IRL race driver. So he made the step up from video game racing into real world car racing, and has been hugely successful as an IRL race car driver as a result of that. So we had him, the likes of Mini Minter, Bateson, Tub Jizzle, plus a number of different news outlets that you obviously probably want the journalists of those. But yeah, they all came in, played it nice. So Elon Musk, with his wonderful ideas, has just ripped off our activation. So cheers, Elon, mate. I'll be in touch. I probably won't. I'm not going to be in touch because, he'll bury me. So there we go. But yeah, like Madge says, nothing says safe driving like having an electric system to play a video game while on the road. Exactly. And that's the reason why, if you have, I don't know how it works for the Android equivalent, but Apple CarPlay, if I plug my phone into Apple CarPlay, YouTube, Twitch, all of that stuff, I can't feed that through the screen. I can feed the audio through, but not the picture, because it's not safe. So on one hand, you've got Apple going, okay, yeah, we don't want you watching Twitch because it's not safe. On the other hand, you've got Elon Musk going, Play 70 hours of The Witcher. Results. Nice. So, yeah, it's bizarre. It is bizarre. I mean, it's amazing. It's probably more for the person sat in the passenger seat, but yeah, it is. It's not the safest thing in the world. It's cool, though. It is cool, though. Wasn't it just an example of its processing power rather than primarily being used for gaming? It's the hardware for the AI note. Pass. There is no information on that from their product thing. As it mentions within this article, the details on it are scarce. The only way you can find it as well is to go digging through the website. So you have to kind of go through. Let's see if I can find. No, can't find the bit to hand. But it was basically buried in the website. There you go. You can see the claims for yourself at Tesla's Model S website, though they are buried. You have to go to the shop, scroll down to interior, and then click on feature details. So it could be just an example of processing power, but you know, it's the internet. Allow people to go and run with something and make their own conclusions. It's fine. Reese says you're all so nice. Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I mean, Bibby's not so much. He's fine now because he's got biscuits. He's like, yeah. Once the biscuits are gone. Ooh,
Good gear these.
What are you eating? Let me see.
McVitie's Digestives, chocolate chip and caramel bits. They're called twists. So it's like a caramel biscuit but with chocolate chips. So it's like the other way around.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. See, I'm on board with just McVitie's caramel digestives. Those things are class on their own, so that could be cool. Daniel says, my VW van had a screen which doubled as a TV. When over a certain speed, it would switch to map and play audio only. See, that's pretty cool. Gary says, Elon Musk is a clever guy, but a weird fucker at the same time. It's fine. People say the same thing about Bibby. It's okay. Someone I know had to put 29k down for his Model S for a deposit. I've told you, stop talking about Bibby 2 Lambos. He's got sponsorship with Lambo. Don't talk about what it went.
I wish.
Elon Musk is not to be trusted, in my opinion. That's probably true too. Robert Daniel says, I miss dark chocolate hobnobs. You miss them? Do they not exist anymore? I do like a dark chocolate biscuit, dark chocolate digestive as well. Yeah, obviously you're in the Netherlands now. That's a good shout. Yeah, they're good. Tell you what, I'll buy you a packet and I'll get you one sent over. There you go. The next time I'm physically in a shop. Don't know when that will be. Bibby's eating chocolate, and I'm about to go for a 7k run, says Enix.
I'm exhausted about thinking about you going for a 7k run.
Yeah, do you know what? To be fair, you're the one getting the benefit. You make it sound like you've been neglected. You get the joys of seeing the world and getting the fitness. Bibby has to consume unwanted saturates and stuff like that. so you are lucky, my friend. Enjoy the run. David says the only thing that can stop car PCs being a thing was the fact that the old spinning rust hard drives would die because of the damage caused by the usual vibrations of the engine and road conditions. Plus, the input options were still keyboard and mouse because touchscreens were too costly. But it's fine. We're in the future now. It's okay. Yeah. Do you have the new gen console? Says Reese. We both do.
Yes.
We have.
Three of us too.
I have two because I'm greedy. We have. Is my cam in the right place?
Buy one for 800 quid.
Well, you can just about see my digital PS5 hidden away between the PC and the monitor screen over there. So we do. I have that one digital for the stream setup, and then I have another one downstairs for the house. And I have 7 more that I put on eBay for £2,000. No, I don't really. Scalpers are dicks. Just in case you didn't know, we are joking. Scalpers are in fact pillocks. There you go. Robert Daniel says, him throwing a tantrum about COVID restrictions and threatening to uproot his factories unless Trump made concessions for him. I lost all respect for him then. Yeah, and there's all sorts of other things as well, but I don't care enough about him to go digging for the truth. So I think that's what I say. You're probably right. I think you're probably right, but yeah, not that bothered. Yes, Graham found his PS5's long lost brother the other day. Enix has just asked the same question that someone else asked previously. Was it Iceman? I think it was. There you go, Iceman. But can it play Crysis? And Enix, can it run Crysis? That's a good question. It's not a PC until it can. That's all we know. I don't think my PC can run Crysis, to be fair. I don't know. Let's see. Let's jump ahead. Another article that we'll probably skip past because there's not much to say. proceedings have started, but it could turn into something down the road. It might not, so let's not spend too long on it. But Tom Ivan at VGC reports that Valve has been accused of patent infringement in the first of its kind jury trial. Steam controller case being conducted remotely via Zoom due to COVID-19. Valve stands accused of patent infringement in the first ever patent jury trial to be conducted remotely due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The case is being heard by Judge Thomas Zilli of the Western District of Washington, with attorneys for Valve and plaintiff Ironburg Inventions giving evidence from various locations via Zoom, Law 360 reports. Ironburg alleges that Half-Life and Portal maker Valve was warned in 2014 that a prototype of the Steam controller shown at the CES trade show featured the same rear side controls it had recently patented. The patent for additional controls on the back of a pad to be operated by the user's middle fingers would later be licensed by Microsoft for use in its Xbox Elite controllers, which feature rear paddles. Ironburg really created a new category of controllers, the company's lawyer Robert Becker argued. Despite the alleged warning, my god, my mouse is like absolutely shacking out with my roller wheel. Despite the alleged warning, Valve went on to launch its controller and reportedly sold 1.6 million units before the product was discontinued in 2019. Bibby didn't get one, even though he tried. Or did you get one? Hey, of course he did. There we go. Let me. Boop. Hey, there he is. I thought you didn't get one, but you did, clearly. Ta-da! Valve did know that its conduct involved an unreasonable risk of infringement, but it simply proceeded to infringe anyway. The classic David and Goliath story. Goliath does what Goliath wants to do, Becker said. Valve's lawyer Trent Webb said the Steam controller's rear features didn't match the outlines of the patent. Acclaimed juries in the case will examine when they're sent a Steam controller by mail this week. I wonder if they get to keep it. Ironburg's case will be based on altered graphics, modified pictures, and skewed viewing angles, and then they'll ask you to make that decision based on an altered reality, Webb claimed. Nothing you will see or hear from Ironburg will change what you can see with your own eyes and feel with your own hands when you get that Steam controller. Alternative reality has no place here. You can full on imagine that bit, someone delivering that as their opening arguments. Like, yeah, that's amazing. It's just stood there, jury, I present to you, kind of thing. So, Valve, not for the first time this month, being taken to court. Just a couple of weeks ago, we were told that they were being taken to court over EU regulations regarding essentially price fixing on a regional/national basis. So they're in court for a 1.7 million case or something like that, and now they're being taken to court by Ironburg Inventions over the use of sticks on the back of their controllers. What are your thoughts on that, Bib?
Of all the controllers in the world to get sent over and have a lawsuit made against, it's this one. Do you know what I mean? It's not a great controller by any stretch of the imagination. It works. The triggers, the bumpers, shall I say, the triggers are really nice, but the bumpers are awful. The back buttons, awful. Touchpad, awful. Like, you just... Why? I haven't got to use it half as much as I probably would like to, because I just can't get my head around it. It's just a bit bonkers. But yeah, I've no idea. I mean, how do you even get around patents like this, though? Like, surely most controllers are pretty much exactly the same. Forget about the DualSense one, and then bring in this Xbox one. They're not exactly the same, but they're also not too dissimilar. They both got XY, AB. They both got analog sticks. They both vibrate. The buttons are in a slightly different way. Like, yeah, it's. I don't know. I genuinely have no idea.
I'm just going to finish this Pokemon battle that I'm having in the chat with Jordan. He's just seen this Pikachu remote and decided he wanted a battle. So he used Pikachu, did 30 damage. I used Charizard, and just wins. There we go. Fight over. Job's a good one.
Robo says that the patent part was the back paddles. Yeah, but haven't a lot of controllers have back paddles, like GPD pads that you can pick up for about £8 for your Nintendo Switch have those. Scuf controllers have those. Obviously, this has it. Like,
there is a good point in there. I mean, I agree. Without knowing the intricacies of copyright law, controllers can be made that look like other controllers that have similar buttons and similar functions in similar places. So arguably a stick on the back is another button placement. So what makes that different? But I agree, the point is made there about Microsoft. That does get mentioned in here. The patent for additional controls on the back of the pad to be operated by the user's middle fingers would later be licensed by Microsoft in its Xbox Elite controllers, which features rear paddles. So the fact that Microsoft have gone, okay, we like the idea of paddles on the back. Okay, we are going to take that idea, but we're going to license the idea from you. So Microsoft have paid Ironburg Inventions for that. Is that just Microsoft going, do you know what, we can't be asked with the court case and we've got a shitload of money anyway? Okay, we'll take it. Or is that Microsoft going, okay, we know that we're not going to win a case if we run the Elite controller without going through them. So I don't know. I mean, I without knowing, from a layman's point of view, I would see if I can pick up my DualSense controller here. I don't think I've got a PlayStation 1 over there, but if I could pick that up, very, very similar to the Switch Pro controller or to the 360 controller. Obviously, some things move around. My Scuff controller, very, very similar. Obviously, that's officially licensed and so on. But it's the fact that controllers can just copy designs willy-nilly in certain things, but things like that are different. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. The telling bit, though, like I say, is the Microsoft bit. The fact that Microsoft did go that way, that could be the bit that set a precedent that could be the death knell potentially for Valve in there.
So does that mean then that you'll never be able to put paddles on the back of your controller? Because if that's the case,
no,
then surely Scuff.
You can do, but you get permission. The thing is, though, I mean, where does that stop? Because Scuff has 2 paddles on the back on each side. So is that different? Does any number of paddles now on the back become copyright? So yeah, I mean, that's the bit that is the difficulty. And like I was saying, the only thing that kind of muddies that for me is the Microsoft bit. Because one thing, I mean, we've mentioned it, I can't remember what we were speaking about last week or the week before. One thing the Court of Law loves is a precedent. If something has been done before, a judge can go, okay, well, for continuity, for consistency, we will stick to that. But I know that wasn't necessarily in the eyes of a court of law. That was just a legal agreement, effectively. But Microsoft has set a precedent by establishing that license agreement, and Valve not doing that. It just depends on how that is presented to the plaintiffs. Because if you jump down to the bottom, the bit where Trent Webb, Valve's lawyer, the bit where he does his... Imagine you stood in a courtroom and there's a guy in a business suit stood in front of the jury and he's making his opening argument. And his argument was, Ironburg's case will be based on altered graphics, modified pictures and skewed viewing angles. And then they'll ask you to make that decision based on an altered reality. Nothing you will see or hear from Ironburg will change what you can see with your own eyes and feel with your own hands when you get that Steam controller. Alternative reality has no place here. So what they're arguing is that, yeah, it's similar, but it's different. It's not the same thing. The idea it's similar, but it's different. We've made it with our own shape, our own form factors. The function behind it is the same, but it's not the same. So it just depends what gets the most weighing, the precedent or the argument. So interesting to see. I genuinely thought we were just going to fly over this article, but we've had a little bit of discussion on it, so that's nice. To update on the Pokemon battle in the chat, Jordan said, want to play some Pokemon? I choose first Pikachu. So I went, Charizard, let's go. Pikachu uses Thunderbolt and Charizard takes 8 damage. Charizard just wins. So then Jordan responded with, Pikachu is not impressed. well, it just is what it is. Others have done it doesn't mean they're also not in the wrong. That is true. Doesn't mean that they're also not in the wrong either. Just because Microsoft have paid to license it doesn't necessarily mean that is right either. But we will find out what the courts say. It'll be interesting whichever way they go. Because, like you say, it could have knock-on effects. Is Scuff's own controller its own controller? How do we then think about additional parts? So you've got the DualSense 4 for the PS5. You could then buy a little add-on that's stuck on the back that allowed you to have sticks. Is that a separate part because it's not part of the controller? Does that come to the license? It'd be interesting to see where it goes with it. Will suddenly stop doing that? Interesting. To be honest, the controller had the right idea, but if you're playing PC, just use mouse and keyboard for something like that. Something like that needs mouse and keyboard, like Counter-Strike. Trying to play an FPS with this was a nightmare. Only alternate control for an FPS that works is gyro controls. Daniel says, what it is a precedent. Yeah, exactly. By one of the largest technology companies in the world. Yeah, if Microsoft are doing something, is it just because they just, fuck it, can't be bothered with the faff, we'll pay it? Or is it because they know? Either way, it sends a message. It just depends how that message get read. Check the patent, it will say, depends on the wording, what was accepted, and the countries in which it applies. The precedent is the leader of the United States. Fuck's sake, David. So if you didn't catch that because I was rushing it, basically Daniel says what it is a precedent, and David says, well, the precedent is the leader of the United States. So there you go. It took me a second to get there, but it was worth it. GG, David, I'll let you have that one. It is defined as separate. Found the patent. Okay. So I'm going to click. I'm assuming this is the PlayStation accessory. That looks like some reading. I will leave that one. I will move forward though into the next one. Speaking about PlayStation, that's a nice. There's onboarding. What's the opposite of onboarding? Offboarding.
Yeah, offboarding.
Dad would have said it if he was here. Yeah, he would have done. Okay, one. So jumping out of that into the PlayStation world, fucking off. There we go. That's a good one. So rather than onboarding, let's fuck off into something else. Language. Although we don't mind a bit of bad language in here. So apologies if you knew, but that's just the way it rolls. Do you have a PlayStation? Do you have a PS5? If you do, then you'll get some extra goodie stuff. I'm not sure if it's just PS5, but we will find it out as we jump through the article. Wesley Yin-Poole at Eurogamer says PlayStation Plus February games announced. Destruction All-Stars Control more. Actually, a really good month for PlayStation Plus games.
Very good month.
Gonna stop before we jump into it. So we've had a few good games already since the what's it called? The PS5. There we go. Since the PS5, since the next gen came, we've got like Man-Eater, which. Obviously, some people would see it as meme content, but decent enough in itself. Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which is a great game, apparently. Not played it. So, Greedfall. I can't remember what was before that, but there was something decent before that, the month before. Anyway, last month stepped up. This month has potentially somehow stepped up again. I mean, that probably means that next month we're getting like Piece of Paper Simulator or something like that. But enjoy it while it lasts. PlayStation Plus February games announced Destruction All-Stars Control and more. Sony has announced February 2021's PlayStation Plus titles. PlayStation 5 exclusive Destruction All-Stars launches as a free PS Plus game on Tuesday, the 2nd of February. Do you know what? I'm actually quite happy about that because Destruction All-Stars looks like something that could be horrendous or good, but it caught my attention. So I like the fact that it's free. It will give it a good chance. This is the vehicle combat game developed by Lucid that was once a PS5 launch title. There's a new Destruction All-Stars focused state of play video below that goes into detail. I'm not going to hit the video because that's obviously informational. We don't want the audio. So here's the official blurb on Destruction All-Stars. Entertain the crowds by bringing controlled chaos to the vehicular combat arena of this metal-crunching multiplayer game. Pick one of 16 superstar competitors, then leap into 4 game modes using timing, tactics, and skills to cause carnage behind the wheel or create havoc with your parkour skills. Perfect your character's abilities, including a hero vehicle unique to them, to give you the edge in free-for-all battles or team challenges and become Global Destruction Federation champion. The game also supports PS5's Game Help feature, giving you hints and tips to become the ultimate destructive machine without the need to leave the game. Also hitting PS Plus on the 2nd of February is Remedy's Control Ultimate Edition for both PS5 and PS4, and Concrete Genie for the PS4. Destruction All-Stars is available on PlayStation Plus until Monday the 5th of April, Sony said. Control Ultimate Edition and Concrete Genie are available until Monday 1st of March. You've got until Monday 1st of February to download January's PS Plus games, which we've said already is Man-Eater, which is PS5 only, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and Greedfall. So Control, whew! I mean, I know there's a lot of focus on Destruction All-Stars in there because that's the new game. It's a a new format exclusive PS5, essentially a launch title, but a few months later. So all the focus is on that. But the fact that Control is in there, that's the one that catches my attention. What are your thoughts, Pip?
You'd be fucking mortified if you just had to repay for the game again, wouldn't you? And you realise it's in PlayStation Plus that far afterwards, that close after the release of the new console. But yeah, I mean, it's great that we're going to be getting it. I'm going to be playing it. But yeah, I'd be absolutely mortified if it was one of my favorite games on the PlayStation 4. I had to pay for it again on the PlayStation 5. I probably paid for it on the day that I got my PlayStation 5 because it's one of my favorite games. This is hypothetical, by the way. This isn't my opinion, but and then you realize 9 weeks after the consoles come out that it's coming out for free. It's an absolute travesty, really. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be in the hands of a lot more people, so great.
Yeah.
It's a high-profile game as well. I mean, you're getting bang for buck.
I mean, the fact that it's gonna be free as well is great for someone like me. I didn't buy it, and I was tempted by the what was it, the complete edition? What was it called? I can't remember what it's called. Ultimate Edition. I didn't buy it. I was tempted by the Ultimate Edition. Didn't buy that, and I potentially still could have done. But the fact that it's free now is just exceptional for me because it's a game that I didn't get soured by. I know a bunch of people did get soured by. Particularly, I mean, if Jordan's still here, Jordan bought the game, bought all the DLCs, bought all of the add-ons and stuff, but didn't get the next-gen version. Whereas now he gets it for free anyway. So he'd have had to buy the Ultimate Edition, which he didn't want to do, but now that boxes that off, so he gets it anyway. Robert Daniel says, I just think PS Plus is really weak. Really? I mean, I agree in some efforts. I mean, if you're putting it alongside Game Pass, then I think you've absolutely nailing it in that sort of sense. But I think they've been pretty good since the PS5 launched. I think they were kind of the same at the start of PS4, and then it kind of like obviously you go off the boil. You can't keep consistently hitting huge community indie games because obviously not all of them want to jump into to PS Plus, but then you can't keep consistently hitting AAA games like Shadow of the Tomb Raider, things like that. But I think it's been really, really strong since the launch of PS5. I mean, there's some months where you just think, I'm not asked. I'll get it anyway. I'll add it to my library because. But some months you just think, nah, I'm not bothered. But most of the games that's been up on now, even though I'm not playing them, it's the idea of, I don't want to miss it. Just in case it's there. So I've got Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I've not played it, I've not downloaded it, but it's in my library. I think in that sense it has been strong. So I will play Shadow of the Tomb Raider at some point.
Yeah.
Some of the other ones, maybe not, but yeah, that's good. That looks so sick, says Reese. Which one? the Destruction All Stars or what we're saying? Mr. T, welcome in. Good morning. Says, remember when almost everyone here got in a huff around Control Ultimate Edition? Look at him. He stood there with a stick, just prodding.
Yeah.
Some decent games there. PS Plus February has it under control. Gary Clark, ladies and gentlemen, he's here all week. I mean, these puns though are absolute magic. I mean, some may say he's a genie of puns. Honestly, I mean, his was solid. Mine not so much. Mine was a bit liquid. His was full on concrete. It's a concrete genie. There we go.
What time are we finishing the show today?
Pretty soon. Mr. T says it's almost like Remedy and 505 had a long-term plan around Control, getting it into more people and making money where they can, given the additional work they've done. I know, amazing. Imagine that. I mean, I understand the frustrations. I think, whilst I don't agree with them, I understand that the frustrations were valid. But yeah, you can kind of see why. They were talking, and I think they didn't help themselves. They absolutely opened themselves up to stick. By having wording, what was it? It was kind of something like, it was vague. That was the problem. Like, we can't explain because there's certain avenues that we'd like to go. That's probably them saying, we're going to be on PS Plus, but it's not been agreed and we can't announce it because, it'll fuck things up. But I think they probably, whilst they had a plan, it's fair to say that people were criticising them because they didn't share that in the best way. But yeah, it just goes to show that hatred, not for the sake of hatred, because it wasn't a hatred, hatred quickly without any real foundation can often be unfounded, and 505 have kind of smashed it in that sort of sense. Some people will still probably feel pissed off because they will have probably bought the original stuff, then bought the Ultimate Edition, and then got it for free. But like you say, you're a business, you can't give away your business plan because you won't make money and you won't make any more games, and then they'll all be sad in the future anyway. So yeah. I see the urge to make a shitty pun was uncontrollable. Hey. Realist United, good morning. It says, never understand that control game. I haven't played it, so I'll tell you whether I understand it when I finally do. Thanks again, lads, for yesterday. Well, it was Bib. It was Bib that dropped the raid, but I was the one that was lurking in the stream a little bit afterwards. But yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. It's nice to pass on the love.
No problems at all.
We got it dropped on us. It's nice for us to drop one on someone else. That's not what I meant.
Not me that time.
Is Destruction All Stars the one that people said chat was like in chat was like WWE Crush Hour? Yes, that's kind of the one.
Toilet.
Yeah, a mixture of Destruction Derby, WWE Crush Hour, Twisted Metal, just Rocket League, some weird amalgamation that might actually, despite being confusing as feck, just work. I remember Rocket League. When Rocket League first came out, you were like, Rocket League sounds cool, what's that? And then you see it and it's like cars playing football. And you're like, okay, it might be fun for 5 minutes. So what's the story behind Rocket League? And then it was like, super rocket acro-powered turbo super hyperspace speeding acrobatic gymnastic cars. Oh, that's not the name, but the name was literally something that was almost as bad as that. It was a horrendous name that was its predecessor. However, get rid of the dodgy name, get people playing it, and you realise this just works. So that could be the case. I'm not saying it will be. It could be. I'm open to the idea that Destruction All Stars could be good. It probably won't be, but I'm open to the idea that it could be.
Do you think that the way that Rocket League is now is the way that they intended people to be playing that game? Because I don't.
No, not at all. That was Psyonix just making another indie game, and okay, well let's put it on PS Plus. That might get more players. Well, that was lovely.
Yeah,
that was.
I imagine though, because I can't imagine in their game plan that they had people. Like, I know you can go up the walls and stuff like that, but to be able to fly from one side of the map to the other, I say map, the pitch, the way that people play it with like running across the roofs and stuff like that, I imagine in their wildest dreams that they never would have had people who are so good at that game now doing 1,000 backflips whilst also hitting the car off the bumper, flying through midair to go in. Do you think that was their original concept, or they just thought it'd be really cool to have cars that play football?
I don't think it wasn't their concept, but I also don't think it was. I don't think that they would have thought in their wildest dreams that many people would be playing it, and it would be at such a high level esport that people will literally drive up a wall and then juggle the ball across the pitch in midair. I don't think maybe they probably didn't envision that, but they probably did envision some form of a skill gap. But even still, absolutely nailed it. It's the similar sort of story as Fall Guys. One was the start of the generation, one was the end of the generation. Both carried by that right game, right time, free to play, and just nailed it from there. So, I mean, this could get a mix like that. We will see. I'm not convinced. I think
it's going to be shit.
I think the thing that lets it down the most for me is Fall Guys. It's just like, okay, boom, straight in, play, and you're these things. You just go. Rocket League, boom, straight in and play. You're just this car and you go. Whereas this, they've tried to put more personality into the characters and almost give you legends or whatever you want to call them. Your individual characters of different cars and different superpower moves, and I think that's where it started to become a little bit complex. But we will see. We will see. Iceman, there we go. Supersonic acrobat rocket-powered battle cars. Supersonic acrobatic rocket-powered battle cars. My
Put that
God. I can't... That was the name of the PS3 game. So then they said, should we make another one? Yeah. What should we call it? Supersonic acrobatic rocket-powered battle cars 2? We could do, or just Rocket League. Oh yeah, let's go with that one. Nice, bosh. That's it. Millions sold. There you go. It shows what's in a name. Sometimes games don't give you enough of what it is, what it's about. That was probably they're giving you too much of what it was about. The cars are supersonic, acrobatic, rocket powered, and they battle. Nice, great. Okay, no, I'm not interested. You've lost me already. So yeah, good rebranding. I still don't have a clue what this game is That's not good. No, I agree. But then again, if someone tried to say Fall Guys, you're weird jelly bean things that kind of grab each other but run and like it's a knockout, but like floating with windmilling. Fall Guys though had a good name, and you just kind of think, okay, well, I like the premise and the name's kind of. Let's give it a look. Destruction All Stars is a decent enough name, still pretty generic. Destruction being used a lot of time. All Stars is used in various genres, not just in video games. So, it's a good enough name. Is it going to be a good enough concept? We will see. Okay, quick, hands up. Do we think Destruction All Stars is going to take off? And when I say take off,
No.
I don't mean Rocket League or Fall Guys. Do we think it's just going to be a success, or do we think it's just going to fizzle out? Damp squib or successful? What we're saying? Baby's saying damp squib.
Yep.
There's actually a supersonic acrobatic rocket powered battle cars Easter egg in Rocket League. Is there? I did not know. Fortnite sounds good, but it's not. You don't think Fortnite's good? I think Fortnite's incredible what it's done. I mean, it's had its time and it's got old for a lot of people, but I still think what that game did was exceptional.
4 years. When did Fortnite come out? Like 4 years ago.
3 to 4, something like that. I don't know. We're in lockdown. We've been in lockdown for 12 years, so I don't know anymore.
2017. So I'd say for a game that's nearly 4 years old, I think it's done reasonably well.
Yeah. Gary says he thinks it'll fizzle out too. Realist United said I played Fortnite one time. It sucks. Really, I enjoyed it. I'm not good at it. I'm not good at the building. I don't want to do the building, but
To be fair, I hated it the first time that I played it.
yeah. Once you kind of get into it, you realise it's a really well made game. It's a really well polished game. But yeah, okay. I think this is probably going to fizzle out, if I'm being honest. I will happily be wrong, though. So let's see. In a month's time, by this time next month, we will know whether Destruction All Stars just went under the radar or whether we're all talking about it. Let's see. The only things that make Fortnite is gimmick, and it's free. It's a shite game. It's so dead. Use the Konami code on the title screen for Rocket League. Ah, okay. I'll do that the next time I play it. I do play it semi-periodically, a couple of times a year maybe. So the next time I'll probably have forgotten by then, but I'll try to remember. You can't hate a game if you've only played it once, in my opinion. Yeah, I can. So there. Don't tell me. Anyway, I do agree. I agree. Especially something like Fortnite, because the skill gap and the depth to the game. I've played a shitload of hours in Fortnite, and I'm still nowhere near even scratching getting into the skill gap. So there's a lot more to it. Just not. Yeah, you have to get past the surface. It's a cartoony fun thing, but there's actually a lot more going on. Anyway, that's a debate for another time. We are going to drop off your streams, your screens even right now. We're going to finish the stream. It's the end of today's Scoop. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for another jam-packed show. A lot of people, once again, in here. We appreciate it. The show's growing each and every single day, so we appreciate you all being here. Thank you very much. We are going to disappear. Why does Bibby look so angry? That's just Bibby's face. That's the resting bib face.
That is genuinely my face. No, I've just finished a pack of biscuits, so I'm probably slightly depressed on the inside now, and you can probably see that with my visual expression. But no, I'm not.
The man hates Fortnite.
No, I don't. I don't hate Fortnite. I haven't played it for a while, but I don't hate it. I did hate it until they brought lightsabers into the game, and then as soon as they did, I was sold. But for a dead game, it's not bad when they've got 91,000 people watching it and a £20 million prize fund for the esports side of it.
Yeah, Phil.
If that's a dead game, Christ, I want to see what Anthem looks like.
Gary's just appreciating my resting bib face comment. Yeah. This afternoon, are you around, or should I jump on and play some PUBG?
I have got some stuff to do first. I want to put the scoop and everything live first, which usually takes like half an hour, 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So you're probably best off just cracking on.
Nice. Okay, well, we will go off, get a few things sorted, and then I will be back. If anyone wants to play some PUBG, then feel free to come and join us. We will be back on this channel. Obviously, if you follow the channel, if you haven't done now, feel free to do so. It doesn't cost you a penny. You will get notified when we go live. I will be live playing PUBG on the PS5.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say up front, probably no wins because I'm still not used to playing PUBG on a dual sense controller, and my Scuff controller is back with Scuff, so yeah, I can't be using that anytime soon. So yeah, if you want to see some PUBG-ish, feel free to join me within the next half hour or so. I think I'll be back live on the channel, and let's go from there. Nice. Before we do disappear though and come back with PUBG, is there anything you want to add, babe?
Again, thank you every single one of you that have joined us today, that have used Posture Check, that have donated gifts, and also followed us. We very much appreciate it, guys. But if you want to be involved with the show, there's two ways that you can do that. First of all, find us on social media. It's at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms. Thank you very much, Iceman, for putting the little social links into the chat. Second way, get into our Discord. There's an area in there called The Scoop. I did see that Viv and Robbo both posted something in there yesterday, and we very much appreciate that. All we need is your thoughts and impressions. The URL will then give you our thoughts and impressions on the very next show, which will be at what time tomorrow, Mr. Graham Day?
Tomorrow, that will be at 10 a.m. Ish. 10 a.m. ish. Iceman redeemed posture check. And Gary drops the ish in the chat. 10 a.m. ish. We go live at 10 a.m. ish every single weekday. Raphael says, Bowling Gully! Bowling
Gully. That's what I'm going to change my fucking Twitter name to. Gully.
Unless you have a stream like you did yesterday, then it'll be like Bib no goalie, because I just kept watching you skying shots and missing shots. Literally, no word of a lie. I mean, sorry, we're going to go for a bit of tangent just before we finish. I watched you for a couple of hours. I left the room. I still had my headset on, and literally as soon as I left the room, I heard you go, but there we go, what a great finish. I was like, for God's sake! It's been Bib no goalie all stream, and then we leave the room, and then back in the net. God.
Niang finally managed to find the back of the net.
Manny was watching as well. He messaged me last night saying that he was sticking around for quite a while. He says Bib was loving Niang, so there you go. Anyway, we're going to disappear. I'll be back with PUBG imminently, and depending on what happens, maybe Bib jumps in with some games or other games or whatever. I don't know. The only way you can find out is by coming back and seeing. Until then, have yourselves a fantastic day, and Bib has got a message for you.
For those of you